Okay, it's Sunday the 27th. Time for a little bit of an update. You can see it's kind of a windy day. It's about 88 degrees. I gave the plants a little bit of a shower, maybe a half an hour ago, so they don't look as bad as they did a half an hour ago. But this is the 2226 Boonin. This is the younger of the two pumpkins, but I want to point out a few things here on this plant that I think are important. First, just a word about the size. This has grown now to be a pretty substantial plant. It's each, just for perspective, the width of the plant is roughly 32 or 33 feet. And the pumpkins are both, on this plant and the other plant, both at 16 feet, which I think is pretty much where I wanted them. This plant is healthy. It's growing quickly, rapidly. It's not without some problems. The biggest issue with this plant is sun scorch. And I don't know really what's causing that, but you can see some of the leaves. I don't know whether I left some chemical on these leaves and they got scorched by the sun, or I just didn't do a good job of shading the plant from the sunshine. Either one of those things is possible. In terms of side vines, there are I believe there are 10 vines, 10 secondary vines on this side of the plant. You can see these 5 right here. I am growing straight out. So those side vines grow to about 16 feet, and then I terminate them. The next 5, I am going to attempt to grow out and then curve them down towards me in the direction of the pumpkin. Now, on the right side here, they have to grow around the pumpkin, so they have to go out straight out for a little bit. You can see on the left side, I'm already starting to move those vines down towards the front of the plant here. This being the end of the main vine right there. I'm going to let that main vine continue to grow. You can see it's pretty windy. It's always helpful to put a little sign right there by your pumpkin so that when you take pictures or videos and you look back at them later on this year or next season, you remember what in the world you were videoing or photographing, because I can never figure it out without some sort of a hint. But importantly, at 16 feet, there is a pretty good looking pumpkin right here. It was pollinated on the 23rd. So this pumpkin is roughly 4 days old. So this is really one of the reasons why I wanted to make the video. When when you begin, those pumpkins are straight up, and over the course of the next 3 or 4 days, that pumpkin will begin to level off, and the stem will allow it to come to rest. It'll be horizontal right on the surface. In this case, you notice that I have something there. It has not reached the surface. You can see that. My hope is that it will reach the surface in the next day or two. And there's a piece of pink fiberglass board or fiberboard or whatever you call it. Something really smooth, because the bottom of the pumpkin skin is extremely delicate. So you don't want that hitting dirt or rock or your fingernail or a ring on your finger, anything like that. You will put a slice in the bottom of that pumpkin before you even know what you've done. Another thing to point out here, I think I've pointed this out before, but the vine, the main vine, comes along. I curved it in the direction of the pumpkin, and then I curved it back away from the pumpkin to grow to infinity and beyond. That puts the pumpkin right here at a pretty convenient spot. You can see now that I've taken a 4x4 sheet of plywood, and I am trying to save as many side vines as I can from having to cut them off. So I am moving the ones on the right, I am moving them in this direction, and eventually we'll move them down this way. And the ones on the left, I'm trying to unscrunch, because every time you move the vine, you scrunch up a couple of secondary vines. But you can see what I'm trying to do here. Okay, let's take a look at plant number 2. This is the 2003 Haste plant. Again, this is a pretty substantial looking plant. You can see the main vine. The end of the main vine is right down here. I would guess that's somewhere in the 25-foot length. This plant, width of this plant is a little bigger. It's about 36 feet. So each of those side vines on the right and on the left are about 18 feet in length. Again, on this one, I am going to do the same thing. I am allowing the first 4 or 5 there to grow straight out, and then my intention is to grow these vines down in the direction of the pumpkin. Curl them around and bring them in this way. This plant, let's see, this pumpkin rather, is about, well, it's exactly, I think, 1 day older than the one that I just showed you. Let's take a look. Okay, again, I have a little bit of a sign there to remind myself what I'm talking about, and when I come back and look at this later, I'll know what it is. But this is the pumpkin that is now, today's the 27th, so this is 6 days old. And I removed the little white table, and you can see there that that's a nice, in my mind, that's a very nice looking, long shaped, long stem. Everything about that I like. I like the position on the vine. I like the way I was able to move the vine towards the pumpkin and then away from the pumpkin, leaving it out here where it has plenty of room to grow. So a lot of things I like about this. This is a day or two older, and you will see that it has touched the ground. So under it is again a piece of very smooth board that I leave there to prevent the bottom of that pumpkin from being damaged. Once again, don't put your fingers under there because you will damage it.